Okay, hi guys. So we're doing our July book discussion. So we are the book that we had for July was My Sunshine Away. Um, like, well, we're just gonna say again, 4 cats. Okay, so might see some cats roaming around, noises. It's just our house isn't haunted or anything. So, but yeah, so we also bought our August book as well. So during our book discussion, we'll just go ahead and announce that as well. And we also bought our books to send out for charity. And so yeah, I guess we're just gonna kind of dive into it. Hopefully everyone liked the book. I loved it, but it also frustrated me a lot because
The ending.
the
That's
ending
what frustrated me.
the ending and the author was really great. Like he can write
Yeah.
incredibly, but sometimes like, he just went such in depth in the main character's thought process that sometimes I was just like, okay, can we get to that point?
Yeah.
Like can we just get to it because okay. So there's but it was really he wrote it very well and he just had some like really good I don't know, like thoughts for the main character. Like he was really awesome. So we're just gonna dive into the discussion questions. We haven't really read over them ourselves, so we're just kind of gonna dive in here. Like I said, if I mispronounce anything, don't hold it against me. Okay, whatever. So all right. Number one. The narrator recounts the story out of chronological order. Why did the author choose to tell the story this way? How does the narrative structure allow him to explore the ways that events in our youth shape our lives as adults? Okay, so why did the author choose to tell the story this way? I guess if he told it any other way, it wouldn't make sense. I mean, I guess basically the ending was kind of like the big, oh, okay. So if he told it any other way, I don't think it would have had like that much of an effect as it did.
I think it would be hard too to follow them flipping.
Yeah.
Like back and forth from like youth to adult, youth to adult, youth. It wouldn't flow.
Yeah.
It just would make it.
Well, I think the biggest thing was I'm trying to hold on here. What was her? I think like the biggest mysteries. Like I said, cats. The biggest mystery for the reader was like if Lindy and him would get together. That was one of my big things. Like if him and Lindy would actually end up together, and would they ever figure out what happened and who actually raped Lindy? So I mean obviously, the book wouldn't have been as like suspenseful if they didn't do it in chronological order.
Yeah.
I think. So it says, how does the narrative structure allow him to explore the ways that events in our youth shape our lives as adults? So throughout the story, I mean, things were happening, things were going on, and he was also, whenever he would describe the main character's thought process as the age that he was, when everything was taking place, it also, he also would throw in there how he thinks now about the situation and how the two different ages between how he was when Lindy's rape happened and how he is now telling the story. I think he threw in there how that event taking place at that point in time, how he thinks about it now.
I think too, like, because at the end we like find out that he's like gonna have a kid and stuff. I think too, I mean, you see like the kids go and play in the neighborhood and stuff, and like back to what happened in his town in his youth, it like affected him as an adult and as a parent. I mean, it's gonna affect him. You just think, he never thought it would have happened in his little town. So growing up, you never know what could happen to your kid then too. Just I guess having experience, like had that happen in his town and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, number 2.
The book begins with the story of a rape. It also deals with child and animal abuse, as well as death and divorce. Yet the book does not feel bleak. Could My Sunshine Away be described as an optimistic book? If so, how? I get. I don't really know if it's like optimistic, but it's not as it could like go down like really dark paths too. Like, you know, how she could have like really like the outcome of what could have happened to her, and obviously her like, you know, having to deal with that every day. I think it kind of shows you the positive side too, like when they grow up, you know, how they are and how their lives are and what they're doing in their lives, who they're marrying to, like what's going on and how positive they can be around one another after like everything that happened between them too. So, I mean, it's sad what happened, and it's like the people obviously that were doing this stuff should have got caught like way in the beginning, because there's like indicators, but nobody really looked at them. But I think it kind of shows too how at the end you kind of see like the justice come out, you know, with him being taken into, like, you know, the guy that did it being taken into custody and all that other stuff going on.
Yeah. But I have a thought right now, and I don't want it to go away before. I mean, it might kind of go with this question, but at the end of the book, I mean, basically the main point of the book was basically, to me, he was obviously writing it to his son. So I think it was how, you know, I guess how men or boys portray, you know, girls and women throughout their life. And I did not think that was going to be really his main point the whole time.
No, I didn't either. I thought it was going to switch a different way.
I thought it was just basically who raped her. Like, that was going to be the big, like, plot twist, big point of the book. Like, I thought it was going to be someone she knew. I thought at some point, I thought it was going to be her dad at some point.
Yeah.
At the end of the book, you basically realize he wrote this story and told this story so that his son will learn how to respect women, because he grew up in a family of women. His father left him, so he had to really, you know, grow up like knowing women's point of view and things we go through and stuff like that. So I did not think that was going to be really the goal. I guess like the goal he was trying to get. I'm sure one of the many goals he was obviously trying to get, or points trying to get across with this book. But, you know, at the end of the book, you were like, oh. To me, I was like, oh, I mean, okay. I didn't really think that was I didn't really get that. I wasn't really thinking about, you know, oh, women get treated like shit all the time, you know? Like, I really wasn't really thinking that way. But then at the end of the book, I was like, okay.
It was interesting, though, to see, like, kind of like because, obviously we're girls, so, we see things the way a girl would. But it's kind of interesting to see how, like, a youth teen, you know, like, what they're kind of, like, going through, too. You know what I mean? Like, from a boy's point of view.
Yeah, because,
obviously, we dealt with our stuff as teens, like, you know what I mean? But, sometimes I like to think boys have it easier, but then, like, thinking about some of the stuff, I don't know, dude. I don't know if
he definitely went through a lot of stuff when he was younger. Not just, just him growing up as a boy, but, like, you know, everything that happened in his life, his dad leaving and stuff, and, I'm not, and of course this comment is not talking crap about men whatsoever. This isn't a big feminist YouTube or video, you know, book discussion. I'm just saying, like, that was definitely, at the end of the book, like, the last page, that was his main point.
Yep.
That was his main point, and I did not think that was going to be the main point, but it was, so, do I feel that this could have been an optimistic book? I think so. It could have been a lot darker than what it was.
Also, like, when you think about it from, like, him writing it to his son, it is optimistic, because, you know, it can kind of show his son the struggles he went through, and, like, how, you know, what he might experience from, like, the boys' side of the house, like, liking girls and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Even when he's talking about, like, when him and his wife were laying in bed, and his wife made the comment, you know, I could have been raped. You don't know that. And in the book, he was saying, like, you know, I wonder if women all have, like, an unspoken, like, pain they've all gone through. And I think, we kind of have. I think a lot of us can really relate, like, women at least, can relate to a lot of really crappy situations we've all been. Unfortunately, I'm sure about 99.9% of them were guys in our life, either our fathers, you know, first loves, first betrayals. You know, we've all, if Huckabee watches this video, me and her were talking about the other day, how all women really go through, not all, but most women go through a really narcissistic, controlling, relationship when they're younger because they think that's what love is, and it's, you grow up and you find it's not.
That's what you think it's supposed to be.
Not saying men don't go through that too, or it's just saying, like,
I'm sure some do.
Yeah, I'm not just, like I said, sure. Not a feminist video. Okay, just talking about, things. So, yeah, I think it could be optimistic, Okay, number 3. The narrator feels that people have preconceived notions or stereotypes about both Baton Rouge, where he's from, and the South in general. In what ways does this book try to subvert those stereotypes? In what ways does it reinforce them? Is the place where you grew up stereotyped? How do you feel connected to that place? How do you feel separated from it? Okay, that's a lot of questions in one question. So I guess we're just gonna go from first down. Okay, so number 1, let's see, blah blah blah. In what ways does this book try to subvert those stereotypes? I don't know. I don't even know what subvert means.
I'm trying to think.
I'm trying to think of what subvert
Probably
means.
like avert them, like go away.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, not, try to. Huh?
We could be completely
wrong. So, I don't know.
I mean, the only part I really remember about them talking about Baton Rouge was when they were talking about, like, the flood that hit, and people from, where was it?
Katrina? Or New Orleans?
Yeah, we're coming up there and starting to populate their town and all this other stuff. But I don't really remember too much.
To be honest, I mean, I feel like every chapter was started with something about Baton Rouge and him discussing a stereotype about it, and then him, like, trying to, disclaim that stereotype. But I'm going to be quite honest with everyone. I kind of skipped through those. Like, I would skim through it, and I'd be like, okay.
I don't really remember anything that, like, stuck out, though, to me. I mean, the only parts I remember is, like, when they started to come up from New Orleans, how they said, like, gangs started to come in certain parts of their town, and they weren't there before, and then major highways and all that kind of stuff. But to me, it just sounded like, I mean, there's nothing really that said it was different. Besides that.
Yeah,
besides new people coming in and thinking, complaining about how it wasn't as great as New Orleans, or they don't do this up here as New Orleans, or they don't.
Basically, like New Orleans is like a completely different
like they were
city
better
than like Baton Rouge. Like basically Baton Rouge is like one part of Louisiana, like a different people, different type, and then like New Orleans is like a different type of people and different type. That's like I remember that too.
Yeah, but that's like the only thing I really remember, like that stuck out to me. But
yeah. We kind of discussed the second question. Is the place where you grew up stereotyped? Of course, I'm from Texas, so obviously I would get asked, do we have trees there? I would get asked all the time, do you have trees? When I go to Pennsylvania and visit my family from PA, people I'd meet from PA when I was younger, they would ask me, is there tumbleweeds all the time? Do tumbleweeds just like roll out in the road? And do y'all have trees there? Is there grass there? Is there any green in Texas whatsoever? So, yeah.
I don't know. I'm from, like, a small country town, so obviously it's stereotyped there as, like, redneck county. But
yeah, of course. Texas, I asked if I was a cowgirl.
Yeah, they're like, oh, do you go hunting? No, I don't. But, I mean, hey,
No, don't go hunting. Sorry.
Do you feel connected to that place? How do I feel connected to that place? I mean, I grew up there. I mean, obviously there's parts of it that I love. Like, obviously, like, like the history of it.
Yeah.
Like, Yuengling's up there, like the oldest, factory for Yuengling.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, I am going to be connected to it. It's where I'm from. It's where my family's at.
Yeah. How do you feel separated from it? Because we are not there. We don't live there anymore, so that's how I feel separated from it. So,
I mean, it's interesting because, like, being in the military, obviously you're separated from home, but sometimes you find things that, like, take you back to home. Like,
like
her family literally lives, like, 5 minutes away. We didn't even know each other until, like, 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Ironic. So, I mean, obviously, like, when we go home and stuff or think about it, it's easy to talk to one another about it. But being in the military, you're going to be away from home, but
Yeah.
There's things that remind me, like if I go out or we go hiking or something, it like reminds me of home or.
Yeah, whenever it's like really early in the morning here, and like you wake up and the birds are chirping and like the sun's just rising, it reminds me of PA.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know, I just reminds me of PA. Kind of a boring question, but whatever.
Yeah.
So number 4.
Although this novel is intensely personal, it also touches on moments of national importance, such as the Challenger disaster and the serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer. How would world events affect you personally? At a time of constant news coverage, is there a difference between local and global? I mean, personally, like, obviously, if it's something with, like, that's going to affect us in the long run, like retirement, healthcare, military pay, benefit cuts for military, I mean, obviously, that's going to hurt us. I mean, globally, when I think of global news and I'm reading the news every day and I'm kind of scanning it on CNN, I look at the stuff that's, like, happening overseas, like, what's happening, maybe over at, like, a base that's over there, like, what's happening over in Germany or with Russia or, what's going on with this or that. I mean, so obviously, it affects you in different scales. But one thing you have to remember is not all news is true.
No.
And people like to take the news and make it to where people are going to want to watch it. Mm-hmm. So I also take into effect how much of that news could be true. But I definitely think the news can affect you depending on how much you read into it and how much you believe of the news.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, especially nowadays, news and information so obtainable. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really pay attention to local news that much, I guess, except just from, I just usually, honestly, the news I get is honestly from Facebook, to be quite honest. Like, people are always sharing stuff or whatever and posting things. I mean, there's sometimes, when I used to work morning shift, I would read CNN or something. I'd read, like, the news highlights or whatever. But, I mean, obviously, some news is going to affect you. I mean, of course, everyone always talks about 9/11. Everyone always talks about where you were, I mean, if you were alive and if you remember, like, where you were 9/11, like, what you were doing that day and how that day affected you. Obviously, that's, like, a national, like, disaster, and everyone can kind of remember where they were at that point in time and, like, what happened. Just kind of like how he was describing whenever they're watching TV in the Challenger disaster. And parents and the teachers were freaking out. Everyone was freaking out, going crazy. I remember that in school. I remember everyone going crazy and everyone leaving the classrooms and everyone just being like, I was in 4th grade, so I didn't really understand what was going on. Yeah. But I remember seeing the news coverage about it, and I remember everyone being affected by it. So it's like one thing that you'll never forget, So yeah, things can affect you, obviously. Number 5. At the end of the book, you realize the narrator is telling the story to his unborn son. Were you surprised? Yes. Like we said earlier, like I'm glad they kind of brought this question up. I just didn't want that thought to leave my head. Yeah. But yes, I was surprised. Like I said, I didn't think that was going to be.
No, you thought from the beginning. I thought it was if him and Lindy got together.
Yeah, and I thought maybe
who did the crime and like how their relationship, formed over time when they, started talking again.
I was also scared that he was the one that raped her.
Yeah, because he, was, so infatuated
with her.
Yeah,
I was thinking, and whenever he was laying in bed with his wife at the end of nearly the end of the book, saying she needed to tell him something before he actually told us what he was gonna say, that he actually knew who raped Lindy, I thought he was gonna say he raped her. And my heart was gonna freaking break and be like, okay, I did like you, but now you need to go to jail.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was. Did this discovery change your perception? Yeah, sorry, perception of the book and why he was telling the story? Yes, like I said, did not think that was gonna be the main point of just, basically kind of women and men growing up in different time periods and, different times of their life and how things affect them both differently. Do you think this audience affects the way it's told? Is it more honest or less so? Do you think this audience, if I'm guessing the audience means like his unborn son, and affects the way it's told, is it more honest or less so? I think it affected as him being more truthful, and him, do you really want to tell your son all that stuff? Probably not. But obviously, it affects him. Oh, okay, there's a kitty. Okay, Jon Snow, you didn't read the book, so go away. So, Yeah, I think it would affect him just being more honest about it more than anything. So, yeah. Any thoughts?
Mm-mm.
We kind of discussed it earlier.
Yeah. I mean, some of these we already discussed, like some of the questions we already discussed, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of just...
Number 6.
The title of the book is the last line of the Louisiana State song, You Are My Sunshine. In what ways does it play into the themes of the book?
Well, I thought maybe at some point it was her. Like her being his sunshine. But now that I think about it, I think it's about his kids.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I think that's...
I think it's
true.
more about his kids than really her. I think she was a main person in his book, a main character, but I think when it comes down to it, the book was more about telling his kids this story than her.
Yeah.
Number 7. Chapter 28 is devoted entirely to the differences between Baton Rouge and New Orleans. How is it important to understanding the relationship between Lindsay Simpson and the character? I guess maybe the difference between them two.
Yeah.
You know? Like, they're obviously two different people. I mean, he didn't really know her. He never really did know her. He was infatuated with the idea of knowing her.
Yeah, of just, like, wanting to be with her, and, like,
Yeah.
she's so pretty, and, you know, like, all the stuff that they did as growing up as kids, and I think he was just always wanting her. It was just something he wanted, but he didn't really know her, and I think she knew that, though, because, like, when she did go off on him, she's like, you pretty much was like, you don't even know me, like, you don't know, like, you don't know me, like, what do you want to know about this event? And she, like, went into detail of everything that she remembered, but we find out that she was trying to forget all of it, because obviously it triggered something in her, so she kind of went off, but I think, in a way, like, her doing that, and them getting to that point, it made them, I mean, obviously she was in a different lane than he was, but I think, it, like, made him kind of step back and be like, whoa, like,
why am I really doing this?
I was trying to help her, but maybe that's not what she wanted. Maybe, you know, she just wanted to forget the whole thing ever happened and not constantly be reminded of, you know, like, this is what happened to me. Like, I remember everything in great detail. And I think that might have been the turning point where he was like, you know, like, everybody kind of separated and
I need to let her go.
Yeah, he just let her go because he didn't really know her. He didn't know her at all. Like,
No.
He only knew things that they talked about on the phone, and really it wasn't even about that much. All they talked about was Jeffrey Dahmer and the case that was going on and this and that. And, like, you know, it really wasn't in detail what they were talking about or getting to know each other.
Yeah, definitely. Number 8.
Look back to the discussion of white flies on page 47. These insects reappear several times later in the book. How might they serve as a metaphor for a memory in the novel?
How might they serve as a metaphor for memory in the novel? I remember him discussing them.
Yeah, I remember there.
Another cat.
I mean, obviously, you know, they were disastrous. They fed on everything green. I don't really know.
Well, it's saying like, yeah, they're kind of, they're disastrous. So I think that whenever he's talking about, you know, how might they serve as a metaphor for the memory in this novel, and I think looking back on the memory, can be disastrous. You know, looking back on it, obviously that event completely tore the neighborhood apart.
Hey,
so quick. So I think looking back on the memory can just kind of have that same effect on you. You know? So, number 9. Although the narrator spends years of his life thinking about Lindy, he comes to the realization that he never really knew her. What mistakes was he making in attempts to understand her both before and after the crime? I think that the mistakes that he never actually tried to get to know her.
Yeah.
You know, he was always so scared of anything that had to do with her. Really, I mean, he just kind of, I think he's also scared to really know her because maybe she wasn't going to live up to his expectations in his mind.
Yeah, I think he built this image of her and, like, what he wanted her to be and what she was going to be and how they were going to be together and all this and that. But it was never going to be like that. It was never going to be like that because it was a one-way street.
Yeah. And he was so obsessed with her rape, like we said earlier, and she was just trying to forget about it.
Yeah,
You know?
and he was just trying to figure out to help her because he thought that that's what she needed, but it wasn't what she needed.
Yeah,
It wasn't it at all. Number 10. When the narrator begins the story of what he discovered in Jacques Landry's private room, he has to stop himself and recount a good memory first. He says that doing this helps keep darkness from winning. Is it cowardly or perhaps dishonest for him to shuffle his memories around in this way, or is it wise? In what ways do you use your own memories to construct the type of person you want to be?
I think that...
I don't think so. I don't think it's dishonest of him.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about what he found in there.
Yeah.
Everything he found in there. I mean, it's hard not to want to think back, on a happy time and, kind of just take a pause from reality and, what you just found and try to, think it's not, a good time. And, I don't know. I think once he had the key and he knew that he could do justice, I think he already was trying to be that hero, is what he was always trying to be.
Yeah.
Always trying to be. So he's always, tried to find a way to be the hero or how he can, find who did it or get them caught or whatever. So I think he just took that pause because, too, in that moment, he realized that he could be that hero. He was going to be that hero because he had all this information, all this evidence, whatever he could grab from there. So I think, too, he had to pause for a moment and just realize what he was doing.
Yeah. No, because I'm sure everyone kind of, whenever they think, I'm sure everyone has a dark memory, and I'm sure everyone kind of thinks about a happy time, and just to know that, happy things happen after bad things happen,
Yeah.
Think bad times never last, every day you wake up, it's a new day. Every day you wake up, it's a new opportunity, and who knows what happened that day. So I think that, no, I don't think he's being dishonest. I think he's being wise. Neville. In what ways do you use memories to construct the type of person you want to be? I think about times when I've done not so smart things and, didn't do the right decisions, at those times. And, of course, we all grow from situations like that. We're constantly growing and making mistakes, and we learn from those mistakes. So obviously, when I'm in a new situation, I possibly think back to a time when I didn't handle the situation previous very well. So I'll use those new skills and new thoughts to. Oh God. Sorry, hold on. Siri's trying to talk to me. Okay. Number 11. During one of the narrator's lowest points, he gets great comfort from his Uncle Barry. However, Uncle Barry is far from a typical role model. Why is he such a great help for the narrator? Can people to serve as role models or counselors even when they are deeply flawed? Of course. Uncle Barry obviously had his flaws, also as a character. I think that having that man in his life just for a brief amount of time during his lowest points, it just made him see how things could affect him in the future, Yeah. How obviously Uncle Barry's life has been just one situation after another, and how it kind of just takes a toll on a person after a while, and how adults don't have it all together. Yeah. Of course, I think one of the biggest things when we're kids is that we think that adults have it all together, and they have all the answers, and their lives are perfect, and once you hit a certain age, and you get married, have kids, and your life's great. Nothing will ever happen again, and of course that is not true. Your life is constantly changing, like I said, and your life can be perfect, and then something can happen, and then you have to, kind of get back to your routine, and, figure out how you're gonna, get over that bump in your life. Anything can happen, and so I think it just shows that to him as well, and I think people who are deeply flawed can be role models and counselors, because,
they've been through stuff.
Yeah, they've been through stuff.
They've obviously learned from it. You see people that, have done some pretty crappy stuff in their lifetime, and they've bounced back from it and become counselors to help people through it. Because sometimes when you're going through that, you want somebody that's been there.
Mm-hmm,
or you want somebody that can, like, relate and you can talk to and be honest about it. And they can be like, well, in my situation, this is what happened. This is what I did. And then you can be like, oh, okay, well, let me try that technique, see if it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to somebody and they're like, trying to push you and push you and push you and push you, you're just like, well, obviously it's not helping, so why am I here talking to you?
Well, you want someone who can empathize, not sympathize with you, empathize with you, which are two different things.
Yeah.
So I definitely think, and also you're going to trust that person more. You're going to trust their opinion more because they've been there, done that.
Yeah.
So, number 12.
The narrator is never named in the book. Why do you think the author decided to leave him unnamed? How does this affect the reading experience?
Honestly, never even noticed that he wasn't named, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought he was named. I thought his name was like Ben or something.
I thought so. Apparently not.
Oh yeah, I did not notice. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, he does a really good job of.
It doesn't change it just because I don't know his name. I think
he does a really good job of like having things being told that are way more important.
Because honestly, I didn't even know he didn't have a name. I thought he did. Maybe I made up a name.
I thought it was Ben.
Yeah, I don't know.
I could have sworn it was Ben. I don't know.
It didn't change it. I still love the book. He told it in a great way.
It's kind of crazy.
I don't even think having a name that would have changed it for me. It still would have been the same thing, only I would have had a name.
I felt I was listening to a story by someone who was telling it to me.
Yeah, I just imagined him talking.
Yeah.
Me sitting there and him telling me.
Yeah.
I did it.
Same. Number 13. At one point, Julie tells the narrator that we've discussed a bunch of the questions already. At one point, Julie tells the narrator that it would be up to her if she wanted to share painful moments in her past with him. Should partners share everything with each other, or are some secrets important to keep? Does anyone really know everything about someone else? How do we navigate our own secrets with people we love? Okay. One, there's multiple questions in this one question again. Should partners keep everything to each other, or are some secrets important to keep?
I get sharing stuff with your partner, but I think some things are just
too painful.
Sometimes it's just too painful to even I don't want to tell them, because obviously you want to tell them everything. They're your partner, so you obviously want to be honest with them. But I think some things just take time for when you're ready to tell them, or when especially if it's something that triggers memories, obviously, or affects you in some way.
Yeah.
But, I definitely think that you have to be honest with your partner and be look, some stuff I went through, I'm not ready to share it at this point in time. When I am ready, I will definitely share it with you, but right now I'm just not at that point where I want to share it with you.
I think it's just also personal preference and opinion. I've seen debates on that before. Should you tell your partner everything? I guess it just depends. I think eventually, obviously, because obviously your partner's supposed to be your best friend.
Yeah, I think it just
your best
depends on your relationship too. I tell my other half everything. We're super honest with each other. So but that's just our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's how we are. But I've known him for 6 years. So, I think it just depends on the people.
Yeah.
Some people can be really open. Some people are more nervous about it. It takes them a while to open up to somebody. Could take them a year or so to really open up, but
does anyone really know everything about someone else? I say no. I think that you never really know someone sometimes. I think there's red flags. I think there are red flags sometimes that people may not notice until after, and they're like, oh, okay. So obviously that was gonna happen.
I don't think you'll ever know everything about somebody. Even your parents, you don't know everything.
Yeah, I'm 25, and I'm learning stuff from my mom's past that I had no idea what happened.
You're not gonna know everything about somebody.
No, you really don't.
You would know enough, almost everything, but I don't think you're gonna know everything. How do we navigate our own secrets with the people we love?
Just like we said, when you're ready, you're ready. You know?
So.
Okay, last question.
At the end of the novel, the narrator tells his son that he wants the two of them to be good men. What does that mean to the narrator? Does the novel suggest a way of becoming a good man? Is the ideal of being a good person wholly subjective? Or are these moral touchstones to goodness that we all agree on?
Number one, what does this mean to the narrator?
I mean, he obviously is telling him so he knows what he went through and, like, you know, how to treat a lady and, like, how, you know, to, like, completely, like, listen to them and, like, you know, get to know them and, like, obviously know about them, know stuff about them. Don't just be, like, infatuated with them or, like, you know, build up a persona.
Yeah, like, they all go through things that I think, I mean, women, me personally, I think women feel things more deeply than men. I mean, I'm just saying it's my personal, I mean, I'm sure men do feel things deeply, but like I said, I mean, women are known to be more emotional.
We show it
creatures.
More.
Yeah, like
I think that, I mean, I know men have emotions and obviously they feel and they probably feel just like girls do, but we show it more. Like, if we're mad, you can tell. Like, normally there's some way, shape, or form you can tell.
Yeah.
Or there's one word that we say, it's normally like K. And then you know it's like, alright, they're mad. But
does the novel suggest a way of becoming a good man? Yeah, like we said, like, we just, you know,
Heather, keep checking legs.
And, you know, basically, yeah, like, just pay, you know, just understand, be more empathetic, I guess, you know, and really try to understand women better. Hi. And, yeah, basically what we said. Is the idea of being a good person wholly subjective, or are there moral touchstones to goodness that we can all agree on? I mean, obviously, I think people are born with a moral compass, okay? And I think some people just aren't. Obviously, you know, people like serial killers or, you know, people who do really, really bad things in their life. And, I think if you are deep down, you're generally a good person, then you'll know right from wrong. Not saying that, not saying good people don't make mistakes. Obviously, good people makes mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes, and you're like, okay, so that really hurt somebody, and I never want to do that again. You know, plus when we're younger, we all make mistakes. We all do stupid things, and we grow up from them. Yeah, it doesn't mean you're a terrible person, even though the person that you hurt might obviously think you're a terrible person. Yeah. But, I mean, if you sincerely apologize, I mean, I've hurt some people in my past, and I have sincerely, you know, apologized to that person. I've cried to that person. I told them I did not mean to do this.
Yeah.
I did something, and I went about it the wrong way. You know, and I learned my lesson. I was young. I was like 18, 19 years old. And
I think we all do stuff, though. And I think, too, though, it's whether you learn from it.
Yeah. I mean,
if you do that, and you're like, yeah, I learned, and then you do it again, and you're like, yeah, I learned, and then you do it again, and you, like, consistently
a mistake only happens one time.
You know what I mean? Then you're at that point where you're like, hey, you know, like, you've done this, like, 3 times now. Like, you should probably know that this is...
You're just a crappy person.
Yeah, I don't know how to tell you this in a good way, but, I mean, yeah.
So, that was our July book, My Sunshine Away. Another book to put in our, you know, my bookcase of books I have, and I really enjoyed it. I never really read a book, so I guess just like really, really, really getting into the character's head, and really, really understanding how the characters thought on one thing went to like a completely different thought. It's kind of like how our brains work. Like, our brains do that all the time.
Thought process.
Yeah, like, we're thinking about a red handbag, and then we're thinking about, I don't know, something completely freaking different. Like, you know, thinking about that one time in 8th grade that I spilled a slushie on my shoes. Or, you know, just something, like, completely different. Like, that's basically what happened. So,
we didn't do a challenge for this book.
No, we didn't.
We've been kind of busy. I was trying to pick a challenge, but there wasn't really anything that, like, stood out to me too much. So, we're going to try that. We're going to see about the next book, too, and see if we're going to be able to do a challenge. Yeah,
maybe do a challenge, or maybe do, like, another giveaway like we did the first month we started doing our book club. And, I hope people get more involved. We only bought 3 books this month for our July package. I only know about 3 people who bought a book. So yeah, we bought some, like, older kids book this time. We bought Hardy Boys Adventure, first one, and I bought two Goosebump books. So, kind of like a more higher reading level and more boys. So, which kind of I guess is a little bit fitting for the novel that we read. So. Yeah, so we also bought our August book, and I'm actually really excited.
It's gonna be pretty good. I think this one we're gonna be able to get a challenge out of it. I think so, definitely.
So the book for August is it's called Damned. That is what it's by Chuck Palahniuk. I cannot even pronounce that. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Yeah,
I have no idea.
I don't know. This is what the book looks like.
He's the author of Fight Club.
Yeah, there we go.
So you know.
So. It sounds really good. Let's see here. Madison is a 13-year-old daughter of a narcissistic filmmaker and a billionaire. Abandoned at her Swiss boarding school for Christmas, she dies over the holiday, presumably of marijuana overdose. The last thing she remembers is getting into a town car and falling asleep. Then she's waking up in hell, literally. Madison soon finds herself sharing a cell with a motley crew of young sinners, a cheerleader, a jock, a nerd, and a punk rocker, all united by their doomed fate, like Breakfast Club of the Damned. Together they form an odd coalition and march across the unspeakable landscape of hell, full of used diapers, dandruff, Wi-Fi blackout spots, evil historical figures, and one horrific call center to confront the devil himself. So I think it's gonna be really fun to see. Also, to me, I love history, so it'd be cool to see what evil historical figures he throws in there. So it seems really good. I think it's gonna be funny, but also I don't know. I'm really excited about it. I picked it up, read it, and I was like, this is gonna be awesome. This is a book I'm actually really excited to read.
Yeah,
really excited.
I think it's gonna be really good. I'm excited.
Yeah, so we will see what kind of challenge we can come up with this, or do some sort of giveaway, something to get people more excited, more involved in our blooming book club. Like I said, it's been kind of difficult lately. Me and Cooper are on different schedules. We never see each other during the week at all, ever. And also, we've just been really busy. I start school Monday. We're gonna be taking leave sometime soon. I am at least. So we're both gonna be doing different stuff, but like I said, we might not be on the exact time schedule as we would hope and want to be on, but we're still doing it. This is August. It started in March? Mm-hmm. March, April, May, June, July. We've been doing it quite a while, so I'm pretty excited. I think actually no, it was May. Was it May or April? One of those 2 months. I don't know.
I cannot remember anymore.
So we've read some really good books, and I've also started again on my book collection, my bookshelf I have downstairs, and that's awesome. And that's really exciting. I love books.
We started it too because we like to read all kinds of books, and it's hard to find a book club that really kind of drew us in. So we started on our own for the fact that we can pick the books and be able to decide what we want to read, and we give books away because we're a charity book club, and that's the biggest thing for us. So we want to do something a little bit different and get people involved. So we're gonna keep doing it.
We're gonna keep doing it. Even if no one joins us,
we're having fun.
Yeah, we're having fun. So whatever. So
let us know if you buy the book for next month so we can get the books out.
Yes, let us know. Give us a shout out on our Instagram or email us or, anything. This is our book for the month. Mm-hmm. So, it's been a pleasure. Whoever watches this video, it's been a pleasure. I think we're good. So we're going to actually go enjoy our Saturday night. So, okay, bye guys.